Hello and welcome. Denise Fleck, the Pet Safety Crusader here. And today I'm taking pages 11 through 15 out of the Pet Safety Bible to talk to you about your dog or cat's health and safety team. Now, we all have a team. We have peeps that help us do things and help us live our lives better. We have doctors, we have dentists, we have people that poof our hair, color it up, cut it. We have people that maybe do our nails. We have friends that give us advice. We have a team that helps us live our life. And our pets should have that team too. Hey, Georgine. Hey, Barbara. Thanks for joining in today. Always happy to see you guys. So what I want to talk about, taking pages 11 through 15 out of the Pet Safety Bible today, is talking about the 6 components of your pet's health and safety team. Now, of course, there can always be more, but there are 6 that I feel your dog or cat absolutely must have. And obviously, the first one is the veterinarian. What I just want to tell you about it, of course, I always post the blog there so you can read all of this in detail, or hopefully you have your own Pet Safety Bible to read it out of. But you want to pick a veterinarian that you feel a rapport with. You're going to be speaking for the pet. You're your pet's advocate. So it needs to be somebody you can relate to. Obviously, we want somebody with the highest of credentials to take care of our furry best friend, but you need somebody that's going to talk to you on a level that you understand and can then take those instructions and apply them to your pet. A few good tips I always have about choosing a veterinarian is obviously, ask people whose pets thrive. What vet do they go to? Visit the office and find out a little bit more about it. Is the front staff friendly? Frustrated staff or overworked staff does not make for a happy office. Also, you want to know if the staff tends to stay quite a while. If you are at a place and year after year it's the same smiling face at that front desk, that's a wonderful thing. But if every time you go in there are new faces that you don't recognize, the turnover may let you know that maybe it isn't just the happiest working situation. That maybe it might be a great veterinarian, but the rest of the staff isn't happy for some reason. And you want it to be a happy, good, rewarding place for your vet. Also, it's always good to check if the veterinarian, as well as the hospital in general, is AAHA certified. American Animal Hospital Association. It's good to make sure they have that credential. And another new credential that I just love is to find out if they're fear-free certified. You can check that out via my blog or just Google fear-free. America's veterinarian, Dr. Marty Becker, started this whole fear-free concept, and you've heard me talk about it in the past, but it's basically making vet offices a wonderful experience for pets because they can be so scary. But there are things you can do too that I've talked about. So always ask questions if you can't, find the old blog or vlog that I'm happy to refer you to. But it's things about like doing a head-to-tail checkup I'm tongue-tied. A head-to-tail checkup on your pet weekly so that they get used to the human touch and that it doesn't become scary at the vet's office. To get kitties used to carriers, so going in the carrier doesn't necessarily mean she's going to get a shot in the behind and be scary. To take your dog and cat to the vet and feed them treats sometimes when they don't have a vet appointment so that they again know it isn't a scary situation. Some of those type of things. But check into fear-free certified as well. Also, you obviously want to notice if the waiting room is clean, if there's a stink to it, if they have separate areas for dogs and cats. All of those things may or may not be important to you, but think about what is important to you in a vet's office and choose the best one for your furry best friend. Obviously, if you don't like the situation, leave it and find another, veterinarian that you feel is a really good companion to you. I shouldn't say companion, a component, a partner with you in making sure your dog or cat gets the best care. The second component is your animal emergency center. Now, some of these places are open 24/7, while others open at 6 in the evening and close 8 the next morning to fill that gap of time when your veterinarian's closed. Obviously, in an emergency situation, you want to know where the one is that is the closest, but you also want to make sure they're adept there and have what you need. So find out ahead of time if they carry rattlesnake antivenin if that's a concern for you, or if they carry blood, should your pet need a transfusion? Do they have x-ray machines and MRIs at the facility, or would your pet have to be transferred somewhere else? How do they accept payment? Even go there to find out where the front door is in case you have a great big Newfie or a Great Dane or a large dog that you can't walk at the time, and know how to get them into that, that location easily. So it's just always important, you've heard me say many, many times before, to drive there, because when an emergency happens, our brain cells fly out our ears, and it's important we've made that brain to steering wheel connection so that we can get our pet there safely and quickly. Thanks, Gail, for chiming in. It's wonderful that you have one right at the fingertips there that you use. The next thing I want to talk about, component number 3, would be your obedience trainer. And for decades, we've always thought of this as being specific to dogs. Well, I'm going to tell you, cats are doing agility and all kinds of things now. And as far as the Pet Safety Crusader goes, cats need to learn some basic manners and commands as well. It's for their own health and safety. A cat needs to learn to stay and not dash out that front door into traffic. A kitty cat needs to learn to leave it and not eat the dental floss out of the garbage can or something else that could be poisonous or toxic to her. So, whether you can do this on your own or whether you need to hire somebody, both dogs and cats need to learn their manners. All of us humans, too, operate better when we have some parameters, when we know our limits and what kind of system we're supposed to operate in, and it really helps our pets. I'm sure all of you know that who have set up some sort of routine with your animals. They have a certain time that they go for their walks, a certain time to eat their dinner, and they get used to that pattern, and it's hard to break that routine, and you really shouldn't for your pets. So teaching them good manners is important too. What I want to mention about that as well, though, is that when you're hiring an obedience trainer, you're actually hiring somebody who's going to train you, because it's your job to train your own pet, even if you are hiring somebody else, because the trainer is going to be with the dog for a short period of time, or the cat. You need to at least initially practice, 4 or 5 times a day, short 5-minute sessions, and you need that ongoing really throughout their lifetime. You absolutely can teach an old dog new tricks, and you should, or an older kitty cat. So it's, important. So many more of you joining in. Nice to see you all today. One thing I do want to emphasize about an obedience trainer is you want one who uses positive reinforcement. That's kind, that doesn't use anything to hurt your pet. And the same should apply to you as well. Some people feel that hiring a trainer can be very expensive, and sure, it can be, especially if you get one with a lot of credentials who's gone through a lot of schooling themselves. However, I must tell you that you may in the long run save more money by getting that training down than if you don't. You may end up incurring all kinds of repair bills at your home for chewed on furniture and scratched doors, and maybe even medical bills for the pets for things they've ingested or pain they caused themselves. So in the long run, it really is a good investment, and it's an important thing. Just like we all need to learn manners, so do our pets. Hey, Melanie, nice to see you too. The 4th component to your pet's health and safety team is your groomer. And most people think of the groomer as a beautician to make your pets look healthy. But I'm really telling you, the groomer is a huge part of the health team of your pet. Not even your veterinarian gets down to the skin like your groomer does. When the groomer has your dog or cat in the tub and that fur is wet, they can really see what's going on with the skin. If there's any kind of allergies, sometimes if there's cuts or wounds or cysts or abrasions or bumps or lumps or anything happening. I was talking to a groomer once about the craziest things they found in fur, and one time in a chow, it wasn't Haiku, who is part chow, that's why I call him my Chiquita, but they said in a chow they found one of those little luggage keys matted into the fur. So, groomers really do have to get down to the skin and can find out what's going on, and can often alert you to a problem with your pet that you didn't know was there, or maybe that the vet didn't even feel because the fur hadn't been wet and, matted, not matted, but, pressed down, so to speak, so you could really see the skin well. So that is one of the reasons I really consider the groomer a good part of the health and safety team, because the skin is the largest organ in our dogs, our cats, even our human bodies. So if something's not right with it, it really can contribute to the ill health of a pet. A couple things, though, I do want to say about groomers. Once again, doing a head-to-tail checkup of your pet at home regularly can make your dog or cat a better patient at the groomer. But I do want you to, keep your eyes and ears open, not only just for your head to tail, but also to how your pet responds. There are some amazing groomers out there, and I have been blessed to know them over the years, with every dog from my childhood to the Sunny dog right up to Haiku. But you do want to watch for some signs. If your pet's having extreme fear about going to the groomer, that could be a sign that maybe something is happening at that grooming shop that isn't, conducive to a happy pet. Also notice if there are any burns or cuts. You want to make sure the groomers are really being gentle and taking care. Pets can be squirmy, especially when other dogs are barking and they're hearing blow dryers and all kinds of things happening. But if you're noticing burns and cuts, that would certainly alert me to wanting to find out what's going on or to find a new groomer. Also, if the groomer's not following your instructions, if you're saying you want something cut this way and they're doing it a different way, you want somebody that's going to do it the way you want to. Now, maybe your way isn't the best, and the groomer can tell you that and convince you that another way it should be done. But if they're just going about their business and doing it away and not following your instructions, that's kind of a red flag. That, along with the burns and cuts, reminds me of something in my childhood, and it almost is going to make me cry just thinking about it now. But I had a childhood poodle named Jojo, and we took him to a groomer, and he came back without his little nipples. And yes, male dogs also have nipples, and they just were razor shaving him and shaving those right off. And I, as a little girl, didn't even understand, but it made me sick and made me cry. And obviously, our dog never went back to that groomer again. So, you really want somebody that's going to hold your dog or your cat with kid gloves just like you would, to brush them gently, not to be yanking at the fur. And since our pets can't talk, they may be showing us by, excessive fear or things like that. And so anytime you're just getting a bad vibe, it doesn't have to be just with the groomer. It could be at the vet. It could be at your professional pet sitter. But a groomer is generally a place you drop your pet off and then pick them up later, so they're out of your sight and you're not always seeing what's going on. So I just wanted to, bring a few of those things to your attention. So we're talking about a veterinarian, about our emergency center, about our obedience trainer, no matter if it's a dog or a cat, and about our groomer. There are two more components to our pet safety team, that health and safety team, that I'd like to mention. And the next one is the professional pet sitter. And if you go to the blog that's posted here, you'll see at the end of it, under professional pet sitter, I've given you the link to a blog I've done previously and a video about professional pet sitters. The Pet Safety Crusader is a huge fan of professional pet sitters, and I try to always use that word professional because it means a lot to me. Now, if you have family members who, live with the pet and love the pets, that's fine, obviously, to always leave them in their care. But not to, prevent any children from learning responsibility and making, a dime or two. But I really worry about people hiring the kid down the street or even the neighbor down the street to watch your pet when you're away. Do they know pet first aid and CPR training like you? Do they know what to do at your house should an emergency happen? Does your pet know them really well and feel comfortable around them? Just so many things to take into consideration, where a professional pet sitter is constantly getting trained in, the latest techniques of how to handle and calm and train pets. I don't mean they're necessarily are dog trainers, but they know a lot about animals, and they can refer you to professionals should you need them. But they really spend their time loving and caring for animals, And they go that step beyond by belonging to a professional organization where they can get certified and keep up on their training. You have to be more than just somebody who loves animals to be a professional pet sitter. Hobby sitters, there could certainly be good ones out there. I'm not saying that there aren't, but we've all seen the horror stories about a lot of these pet sitters you find on apps and in different ways that aren't truly professional, that aren't vetted, that don't consider their pet sitting business a true business. And unfortunately, the animals have paid the price for people that have been, just less than conscientious and have caused problems, injury, and even fatalities to the animals. So please, go back and refresh yourself and read my blog on professional pet sitters and interview these people. If the professional pet sitter doesn't come to your house and want to meet the pet ahead of time, I would never hire them. You want somebody who comes in and already establishes a rapport to your pet, not just blindly comes in as a stranger one day and takes your dog out to raise his leg or do whatever he or she needs to do. You need somebody that really cares, that wants to know where all the emergency exits are, wants to know if there's some sort of airlock to get in and out of the house. What I mean by that is not to just come in the front door if you have the kind of dog or cat who might easily escape, that you've worked out some sort of arrangement where they come in the garage door and shut it and then come into the door from the house, or come in a back door through a screen porch or through a fence or something, so that if when they open the door, the dog gets out of that particular door, the dog isn't free to the street, that there's some sort of airlock, some sort of protection to keep the pet safe. You want somebody who's going to ask you questions about what to do should the worst happen, should you have to get to a vet, that is asking, should we have a credit card on file so that I can authorize any care needed for the pet, that wants to know where the pet's hiding places are in case they can't find the pet, their favorite food and treats and all those kind of things. Again, I don't want to reiterate all of that here because it's already in another blog and video, but the professional pet sitter is such an important part of your pet's health and safety team. And they're really, all of these people are what I consider your pet's second best friend. You obviously should always be your dog or cat's best friend. But all of these people you should really think of as their second best friends, because they're there because they really care about the pet and hopefully about you too. And then last but not least, the sixth part, which I've been leading right up to here, the sixth component of your pet's health and safety team is you, your pet's best friend, his human, his people. And that's why you need to do things more than just, have a pet in your life. You need to do those weekly head-to-tail checkups. You should get yourself educated so you're as smart and animal savvy as your professional pet sitter. Take pet first aid and CPR classes. Take disaster training. Involved in the obedience training of your dog or cat. There's so many opportunities that are even free online to take and learn about animals and their behavior. Be free. Now I'm tongue-tied again on that one. Be free certified yourself. I mean, you may not necessarily care about the certification, but take some of the classes there that tell you what to do if you have a dog that has separation anxiety, or how to make your cat's visits to the veterinarian much more amenable to her so that she isn't stressed and that she actually gets the medical care she needs. That's such a huge part that a lot of times people feel it's more stressful for the animal to actually go to the veterinarian than to not go. But because of that, health conditions are being left unattended and our pets aren't getting the best care needed. So take pages 11 and 15 out of the Pet Safety Bible and make sure you've really developed a doggone great pet safety team for your pet, including their veterinarian, their emergency center, their obedience trainer, their groomer, their professional pet sitter, and make sure that you are doing everything you possibly can, including spending quality time daily with that animal, because that's why we have them in our lives. They teach us so much if we take the time to actually tune in and be in the moment with them. They can get us into our Zen zone just by looking into those gorgeous and soft brown, blue, or green eyes, stroking that fur and letting all of our troubles melt away. So please make sure you put together your pet's health and safety team. Certainly, some of you may have additional members to add to that, whether it's an animal behaviorist or if it's, your acupuncturist, which would, be separate from your veterinarian. Maybe it might be where you take your dog for nose work or agility training or to herd sheep. Maybe it's for fly ball practice. Whatever else it is, just make sure you're the advocate for your pet. You're checking in with him, even though we don't speak a language. If you tune in and pay attention, you know what your dog or cat is telling you, and you know if they're happy about those second best friends you've chosen for them. So make sure they're the best. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. It's good to see all of you always. Take care and give belly rubs and ear scratches from me. Bye-bye for now.